It's Talkin' Ball's Tailgate Tour, presented by Talent Heating and Air, 256-503-1325, serving Huntsville and the surrounding areas. Welcome to Talkin' Ball with Scott Theisen and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
Like that, we are off and we are running. Another brand new live edition of Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Scott Theisen, Drew DeArmond. It is day four of our Talking Ball Tailgate Tour, presented by Talent Heating and Air. Make sure you give them a call. Thomas, Terry, and Jeremy. Give them a call. Talent Heating and Air. Let them put their talent to work for you. It is the Talking Ball Tailgate Tour. Today we are live again from Bill Penny Toyota as we focus in on day four. Today we're going to focus on two schools. We've got the UAB Blazers and the South Alabama Jaguars coming up here in just a couple minutes. We're going to have UAB head coach Trent Dilfer join the show. We got a packed first hour. Then later in hour number one, the voice of the South Alabama Jaguars getting his vocal cords all warmed up for some play-by-play call this year. The voice of South Alabama, J.D. Byers, going to join us as we talk some South Alabama football. So that is what we have in store. That's all going to be in hour number one here on our Talking Ball Tailgate Tour. Yesterday we were at Alabama A&M, a fantastic visit with the Bulldogs. Connell Maynor and company, great day over there. On Monday, remember, we talked UNA football, Brent Dearmond and the entire staff there. Yes, and then on Tuesday, what did we do on Tuesday? Troy football.
We talked to John Summerall and talked some Troy, and then we updated everybody on the Alabama and Auburn, last scrimmages of fall camp. John joined us over here at Bill Penny Toyota. We're back today with one of our great sponsors, and certainly we're going to catch up with Trent Dilfer soon, and we're also going to catch up with J.D. Byers and David Crane. So we've got a packed show today, and we look forward to it, and we appreciate Talent Heating and Air for sponsoring us.
Yeah, it's been a good day. It'll be a good day. Hey, you want to make sure, and this is because of the heat and Mother Nature, make sure you check your kickoff times for your school's games tomorrow night. We were sitting here on Tuesday, and we told you the High School Athletic Association had given permission for schools. They were taking the Champions Challenge, and they were moving those games to an 8 p.m. kickoff. Several schools around our area have moved their games to an 8 o'clock kickoff. There are several schools that are doing 7:30 kickoffs for their high school football games. So, again, make sure you stay with us, stay with 97.7 ESPN Zone. We will do our best to let you know kickoff times for all the schools around the area. But, again, high school football is getting started this week. There are plenty of games going on for week 0. So make sure if you are going out for a game tomorrow night, and if you have kids playing football tomorrow night, make sure you get them hydrated the best you can. The regular season actually gets underway tonight. There are several games going on tonight. Muscle Shoals and Bob Jones, it looks like, is set for tonight. Coleman and Mars Hill getting underway this evening. East Limestone and Athens. Arab and Albertville is one of those games that will be moved to 7:30 for a kickoff. So plenty of high school football throughout the night, or this morning. We will update you on some of the games for today. We will update you on some of the games for tomorrow. But now, once again, it is time for our Talking Ball Tailgate Tour to get back underway. today, and right now the focus is the UAB Blazers.
It really is, and we're honored for the first time to be joined by the first-year head coach of the UAB Blazers. If anyone's followed football, and we're football people here at 97.7 The Zone here in Huntsville, our next guest had a long NFL career, was a Super Bowl champion with the Baltimore Ravens, then got involved with the Elite 11 and is an analyst also with ESPN. And then in 2019, decided to go into coaching full-time and stayed for 4 years at Lipscomb Academy. He won a private school state championship a year ago, including beating the Thompson Warriors, who went on to win another 7A title here in Alabama under Mark Freeman. And now he has come to our state and is going to be the head football coach of the UAB Blazers. And it's Trent Dilfer, and he's joining us this morning on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Coach Dilfer, you're with Drew DeArmond and Scott Tyson here in Huntsville. Good morning. How are you, sir?
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me.
Thank you for joining us, Coach.
Yeah, thanks for waking up with us. Or should I say, I'm sure the day has already started.
Oh, we're an early start team. Yeah, we're coaching staff's up around 4:30 every morning, so I've worked half a day already.
Not surprised, Coach. And we know we've read the story and seen what you and your wife have decided to do, giving back to UAB already, giving $500,000 back to build your support staff and coaching staff. And I was studying your staff just from an analytical standpoint to see your support guys, your analysts, and it was very interesting. We're home of the Madison Academy Mustangs here at 97.7 The Zone, have been for many years, and I saw where you had Coach Bob Gottze's son, Luke Gotze, on your staff as an offensive analyst.
Bob's a great coach. In fact, the president of Madison is Casey Ferris, one of my dear friends. One of my best friends on the planet. He came from Lipscomb Academy. He was actually a mentor of mine at Lipscomb, so strong ties to Madison. And then Luke was a GA student assistant, actually a student assistant at Bama, where Alex Mortensen was. And when I was hiring Alex's number one request more than anything else was, could he bring Luke? So we got Luke on board right away as a GA, and he is killing it. He's a future rock star like his dad, and we couldn't do this thing without him.
Yeah, let's talk about you getting there at UAB. How has been that transition going from the high school game to the college game?
It's been fantastic. You know, there, like I said, when I first got the job, there'd be a learning curve, and there was early on, especially mainly in recruiting. I had background in recruiting because I lived the other side of it at Lipscomb. We had so many recruitable players. The Elite 11, running the Elite 11 for 9 years, giving an insight to kind of the big-time recruiting, because most of those kids are SEC, Big Ten, ACC, Pac-12, Big 12 recruits. So got to see the other side of it there. But I never lived this side of it. So, luckily I hired really good coaches that had been around it and figured it out. Like, this isn't rocket science now. It's not like we're, neurosurgeons here. In college football, I think sometimes people think that it's one of the more complicated things on the planet, and it's really not. Treat people well, make connections, evaluate talent, have an authentic presentation for what their experience is going to be for them and their parents. That's why we've been able to sign a lot of really good players, both in high school and in the portal. So that was maybe the first thing. I think, I ran a program in Nashville that was very much like a college program. Many college coaches came through over the years and said, wow, this is how our buildings run, if not better. So I run the building pretty much the same. It's more people. It's about 180 between players and staffers, where, at high school it was more like 100. So there's complexity with more people and more relationships. Relationships are messy, which is a good thing. So you got to get in the messes with them. But besides that, it's very, very similar. I'm a player-centric coach. I'm a development guy. I believe in the human more than the player. We're just trying to love these kids, trying to serve these kids, trying to develop these kids. Now we hold them highly accountable to the standards every day. We have very sophisticated football schemes, so we really emphasize the mental part of the game. But it's relationship. My football life, a 42-year football life, it's all been about relationships. So college football, high school, NFL, XFL, USFL. It's still about having great relationships and developing a trust in the building and building a program that everybody can thrive in. And I think that's what gets lost sometimes is, this isn't about my ambition or some coach's ambition or institutional ambition. This is about these student athletes that are trying to chase their potential, and we need to provide an environment where they can do that.
And Coach, what drew you to UAB? I was watching an interview with you, and I know I have to believe Bill Clark's success in restarting the program and reaching some big time heights in Group of 5 play, and then the building of progressive field, the commitment to the sport, and the place where you live is so football centric. It's the high school level. It's a big deal in Birmingham. There's a lot of big time programs just in your 25, 30 mile geographic area. But talk about what drew you to the Blazers and taking this step in your career.
Well, honestly, you just said most of it. So I don't want to be redundant here, but I was being in 2 years ago, I got pursued by a couple places. It was just didn't really think much about it. As we're without blowing smoke, we're the best team in the history of Tennessee football last year. It's really not arguable. So a lot of people were gauging my interest November-ish, and I didn't really think much of it. And then a few universities really drilled down and were trying to get me to go through the process, and I was kind of resistant to it. I was very happy. I'm not really ambitious in the sense of climbing some, arbitrary ladder that people talk about. Football has blessed me with more than I can ever imagine in my wildest dreams. So I'm not using football for anything. I'm trying to give back to football. So I really wasn't that interested. My wife, one night, I just got off the phone with a president and an AD, and I was like, not sure. And she looked at me and she goes, no, you need to do this. Like, you've climbed this mountain. You're a mountain climber, metaphorically. Like, you need challenges. She goes, there's nothing more you can do. There's nothing more the staff can do for this community or the school or the team. You need another challenge. And that really got me, for her to release me and say, hey, we're in this. I got excited. I was like, yeah, okay, now I'm ready to rock. And then I was like, okay, where? And it was UAB by a landslide because all the things you said. I think, the foundation Bill built is amazing. This is not a rebuild here. This is a remodel. The Southeast, Alabama specifically, the 5-hour driving radius, you have the most talent-rich areas in the country. Football matters more. The coaching in this region is really, really good. So the players come in prepared. But more importantly, it's how the players are wired. It matters more. They're tougher. They have better work capacity. They're better teammates. There's less entitlement. I've lived in areas like California, like Austin, places where there's a lot of entitlement. There's a lot of core values that are messed up with young athletes, and you don't find that as much in this region. And it's really a testament to the parents, to the coaches, the youth leagues. It just matters more. So that was really attractive. My wife and I fell in love with the Southeast. So when we moved from Austin to Nashville, I was retired in Austin, moved to Nashville. We're like, wow, we love this region. We have friends, really dear friends down here in Birmingham. We have my daughter's engaged to Zach Burnett, who's a Huntsville guy. His family, the Burnett's, run FCA in Huntsville. So we knew about a lot of things in Alabama, and we were just super, super excited about staying in this region. So I think all the math added up to this. It's a no-brainer.
Well, let's talk about your team. 1 week from today, Coach. 1 week from today, you open the season against North Carolina A&T.
Yeah, we're pumped up. It's funny. I will say this has been a learning curve. Like, it gets on you fast.
Yeah.
You're so focused on developing the team, the program, all the things that go with that. I mean, it's endless. That, we just came out of training camp. And you're like, whoa, okay, we have this week as kind of a bridge week, but we're playing a game in 7 days. So I think today we start transitioning into a game week prep, which is exciting. Seeing a different opponent, seeing different schemes, the challenges that go with a game week, with all the distractions that come up naturally. We're really excited about that. And, we have big vision here, but then we drill it down to a very micro standard, which is, can we play our best football this week and go 1-0? And that doesn't matter who the opponent is. To me, they're all faceless. You just gotta focus in on the habits, the disciplines it takes to win football games, because it's hard. I think that's the one thing I've learned in my football life is winning is hard, and it takes a lot. So getting 180 people to do winning things every minute of every day is really my challenge. And when I get off this phone call, that's what I'll go back to doing.
Yeah, no question. And Coach, as far as your team offensively and defensively, kicking game, where do you think your team has come the farthest as camp has unfolded? Because again, they're transitioning to new systems, a new staff. There was a winning culture that you came and inherited, but again, you're going to do things, as you said, a different way.
Well, yeah, I think that's the biggest challenge. Is we have good football players in all three phases, but they're being asked to do very different things. Not better, not worse, just different. And I think there's a learning curve there. It needs to go from the board to the field and then become instinctive. Is it instinctive yet? No. But are we close? Yes. So, we're seeing daily growth, which is what I gauge our success on, is are we getting better every day? We are significantly. I think we're not even close to where we're going to be. And I'm also excited because there's an I don't know aspect of this. I think one thing I've been very honest about, there's just certain things I don't know, and I'd be lying to say if I knew them. And I don't want to BS everybody. It's like there's certain things I don't know. I don't know their poise under pressure. I don't know how they're going to respond to adversity. I don't know how they're going to respond to success. I don't know how they're going to respond to a road trip. I don't know how they're going to respond to a Thursday night game. I don't know how they're going to respond to, the distractions that come up at a huge university and all that goes on with the game week. So there's some stuff that I'll learn on the fly just about my team and my coaches. But, that's natural. My 14th year in the NFL, you're still learning about your team at the beginning of the season. The preseason doesn't really declare who you are. You declare who you are through the course of the season. So I'm excited about those unknowns. I woke up this morning, like I said, at 4, whatever it was, and there was some anticipation of the week. There was like, oh, this is going to be fun. I'm going to learn a lot. There's some, not anxiety, that's probably the wrong word. There's some nervous energy of, okay, how are we going to respond to this, and how am I going to handle it? Because this is my first time doing it at this level. So I think those are natural emotions that go with this, and I'm old enough now to embrace those and not be scared of them.
What's been the strongest point of your team so far? What's the one area that you can say, man, I love the way this unit is looking?
I think we have two of the best running backs in the country, not just in the American, but in the country. I think both of our backs would start in the SEC. Jermaine Brown, or as most people know him as Skull, is he's such a unique back. He has over 3,000 yards as a back in the USA, but they've never really utilized all of his skill set. So we're really excited about all the different ways we can use him. If you want a picture in your mind of kind of who he is, he's kind of a Sproles-ish type back, for those of you old enough to remember Sproles. Because what people think Sproles was just a pass receiving third down back. Well, really he was between the tackles back that had massive advantage in the passing game matchups, and Jermaine is very much like him. And then Isaiah Jacobs, who came to us, we got him from junior college. Brandon Jacobs, our younger brother, he's an NFL back. Like, he is a prototypical NFL back. I played with Jamal Lewis in Baltimore. I would argue he's as good, if not better, than Jamal at this age. He's big, he's powerful, he plays with great energy. Again, he's a three-tool back. He's fantastic in the blocking game. He's fantastic in the pass game, and he's a natural runner. So our backs are dynamic guys. Now, you're only as good as your offensive line, right, as a running back. So we're very, very young, very inexperienced on the offensive line, and I'm excited about that because they're talented. They're very talented. They have great work ethic. They get along. That room is a really neat room. But they're growing every day, and there's growing pains that go with that. So, how that run game works with two dynamic backs. And actually, I would say we have 5 really good backs, not just 2, but the 2 that will be headliners. With the offensive line growth is something that, again, I'm not sure. I think it's going to be good. But, again, I'm going to learn that on the fly.
Well, we're certainly looking forward to the opener. And I know at Protective Stadium you're trying to build a special environment. You've made no bones. You want to be Birmingham's team, and you want as you told I saw an interview where you said you're going to take your guys to the Vulcan and tell them, these are your people. These are the people that are going to grow up. They're going to think of you guys as heroes. These are going to the environment at Protective Stadium can be very special, and we're looking forward to what you're building. I've always thought you were a very player and student athlete centric guy from watching your days in your 9 years with the Elite 11. I really enjoyed the coverage of that. And then what you did at Lipscomb Academy was outstanding. And I'm glad you're in the college game. I think you're doing it for the right reasons. And we appreciate you taking some time out of your busy schedules to join us this morning here on Talkin' Ball.
Well, I appreciate you guys, man. I'll come on multiple times. If the people in Huntsville want to hear about Blazer football, I'm all about to tell them about it. So hit me up, and we'll do this more often.
Oh, thank you, Coach.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it.
That'd be great.
All right. See you guys.
All right. Trent Dilfer with us, UAB head coach. Great stuff there. Got to get a break in, though, because we got to try getting in a quick one. Then we got to bring in J.D. Byers.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Got a stall indicator, 6th Avenue near Church. That one may be blocking up a traffic lane. Everything else looks good this morning. We're at a heavy traffic level, but I don't see any other snags. You be careful on that trip in. Dr. Sandman has the Somnodent, a safe, insurance-approved alternative for snoring and sleep apnea. Dr. Randall Sandlin, 350-CARE. Captain Eck in the North Parkway Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
The kitchen is the heart of any home. It's where the family gathers. It's where kids discover old recipes and make them their own. Just starting out or just now getting started on the dream kitchen you've always wanted?
I'm Chris Haygood, and from all of us here at Bob Wallace Appliance to the home builders and the homeowners of the Huntsville area, a heartfelt thank you for buying local. We're in Huntsville, Florence, and Coleman, and online at bobwallaceappliance.com.
Did you know that Valley Equipment Rental also specializes in day and weekend rentals to homeowners? The weekend rentals is by far the best deal that they offer. If you pick up after 2 on a Friday or anytime Saturday morning, it's not due in until Monday morning before 8 a.m. for a one-day charge. For a small fee, Valley can even haul anything they carry. Valley has extremely experienced and knowledgeable staff that can help you decide what size machine you need or what type of machine you need to get your job done like a pro. They have all the big items that the contractors need for their jobs, but they also carry the small tools that can help you with your DIY project. More importantly, Valley is locally owned and operated, which means when you have an issue, you can get someone on it right away, right here in the Valley. Heck, ask for Ross Roberts, the owner, if you like. Try calling one of the big box national outlets and ask for the owner. That's if you can even get through the automation. Buy local. Buy Valley Equipment Rental. Valley Equipment Rental has 2 locations, one on the North and South Parkway. Learn more at valleyequipmentrents.com.
Normally, when you call a roofing company, all you hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Since 1965, the folks at Fleming have been focused on what you need, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement, commercial or residential. And when it comes to storm damage, you want Fleming on your side. They know all the ins and outs of insurance claims and will guide you through the entire process. Log on FlemingHSV.com and book your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up. Injuries at work happen all the time in Alabama. So do motor vehicle and slip and fall accidents. If you're hurt at work or injured in an accident, I want you to call my good friends at Pond, Lehocky, Giordano. That's Pond, Lehocky, Alabama's injury law firm. They got your back just like they've got mine. For personalized legal support, reach out to Pond, Lehocky at 855-774-3838 or pondlehocky.com.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
It's Talkin' Ball's Tailgate Tour, presented by Talent Heating and Air, 256-503-1325, serving Huntsville and the surrounding areas.
We are here, Bill Penny Toyota, live on day 4 of our Talking Ball Tailgate Tour, presented by Talent Heating and Air. And you're really going to need that air conditioning today. The heat index should pop out around 110 to 114 degrees today. So 256-503-4490. Make sure you give Talent Heating and Air a call. And they have been a big help with us doing this Talking Ball Tailgate Tour. We've been talking the UAB Blazers. Coming up in just a couple minutes, we're going to be talking the South Alabama Jaguars with J.D. Byers. High school football gets underway this evening all across the Tennessee Valley, so make sure you stay hydrated today. Even if you're going out to watch some of the games, make sure that you stay hydrated. It all gets started tonight. Tomorrow night, you'll have your full lineup of high school games right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Then we're going to have the Woody Anderson Football Scoreboard Show powered by the Huntsville Sports Commission. That is going to come your way at the conclusion of the Buckhorn game, and we are going to go till midnight.
Oh, wow. That's now you're going an extra hour, huh?
Well, because the Buckhorn game is going to kick off at 8 o'clock.
So
we're going to go – we're going to do an hour and a half. Well, it's going to be probably later. We're going to do a full 90-minute show because we want to give everybody the scores. We want to make sure. And
a lot of games are going to be starting at 8.
Yes.
Maybe at least half of them, or if not the majority.
Yes, and so we're going to go an extended show. We're not going to be doing that for 12 weeks or 11 weeks of the high school
unless it's 95
football
degrees
season.
to 100 every week, but I hope not,
Yeah, so there's a lot of games kicking off at 8 o'clock. There's a lot of games kicking off at 7:30, so just make sure you check your schedule of games of where you're going to go. It looks like, and I don't know this is according to the state site.
Right.
And if they're doing this, you might need to bring some coffee. But it says Collinsville.
Right.
And I believe it's a jamboree game because they have Pleasant Valley and Hoax Bluff. They're going to start one at 8:15 and one at 9.
Oh, really?
Gotcha. Now, those are jamboree contests. There are jamborees mixed in with games tomorrow night because if you did not start your week or if you took a spring practice, you are not playing a game most likely Friday night. You're playing a jamboree because your season will start on week 1. That's why I say we got some jamborees and we have some regular season games tomorrow night. So anyway, let's get a break in. Told you that was going to be quick. Let's get a break in. J.D. Byers going to join us next, talking South Alabama football on our Talking Ball Tailgate Tour presented by Talent Heating and Air.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A mostly to partly sunny sky this afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the upper 90s. Some of us going to be talking about the lower 100s. Heat index is going to be climbing anywhere between 109 and 111 degrees. Not a drop of rain in the forecast. We only drop into the mid-70s through the overnight, early into your Friday morning. Mostly sunny sky through Friday afternoon. Temperatures climbing consistently into the lower triple digits. It is going to be an incredibly hot evening for Friday night football across all of North Alabama, Southern, Middle Tennessee. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Sounds like they have moved that stall vehicle indicator. That one was on 6 near church. Everything should be back to normal there. We are dealing with a heavy traffic load, but we don't have anything else on the board problem-wise. Someone dies from heart disease every 36 seconds. Dr. Randall Burns and the team at Huntsville Heart Specialists on Bob Wallace Avenue can help you keep your heart healthy. Captain Eck in the 72 and Jeff Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com.
You're starting to see more and more of them on the road in Huntsville, Madison, and North Alabama. And we've got them in stock, on the ground, ready for you to test drive. Hi, Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, and I'm talking about the all-electric Mustang Mach-E. Come experience the torque, exhilaration, and technology of our all-electric 2023 Mach-E, and you'll see why folks are leasing and buying them as fast as we can get them. And that's not to mention you may qualify for a $7,500 tax credit. Woody Anderson Ford is offering financing as low as 2.9% for 60 months, plus $3,000 in bonus cash on the 2023 Mustang Mach-E. Or you can lease one for $449 a month. And we've also got 23 Bronco Sports for $399 a month. These are 36-month leases with $52.71 on Mach-E, $37.09 on Bronco Sport due at signing. Zero security deposit, just tax tag title, and your good credit. These offers end September 4th. Call 539-9441 for complete details. Come on in today. Woody Anderson Ford, hope to see you soon.
The Huntsville Sports Commission is responsible for bringing high-level sports entertainment to the Rocket City. In 2023, enjoy events like the CCSA Beach Volleyball Championships, Hometown Lenders Championship, UCI Paracycling Road World Cup, and so much more. To learn more about upcoming events and the Huntsville Sports Commission, visit huntsvillesports.com. The Huntsville Sports Commission. We do sports.
Tom Abraham here for my friend Brian Hamaker and his team at North Alabama Mortgage. Look, buying a home is the biggest purchase you will make in your life, and it can be a bit intimidating, so you want people that can help walk you through the mortgage process and get you the best deal possible. That's what North Alabama Mortgage does, and they do it in Alabama, Tennessee, and Florida, from first-time purchases to refis, conventional, VA, FHA, and USDA loans. They have the solution at North Alabama Mortgage. Visit NorthAlabamaMortgage.com to learn more. That's NorthAlabamaMortgage.com.
Have you ever turned your back on God? Have you ever absolutely known the right thing to do and just turned around and walked away in disobedience? I know that I have. Aren't we thankful for our great and merciful God who loves us and forgives us and remembers our sin no more? I'm so thankful that his mercies are fresh every day. I need that, and I suspect you do too. Hey, I'm John Dees, pastor of Cross Point Church, and if you're looking for a church home, come see us. We're smack dab across the street from the YMCA in Madison, and check us out at cpcfamily.org.
The kitchen is the heart of any home. It's where the family gathers. It's where kids discover old recipes and make them their own. Just starting out, or just now getting started on the dream kitchen you've always wanted?
I'm Chris Haygood, and from all of us here at Bob Wallace Appliance to the home builders and the homeowners of the Huntsville area, a heartfelt thank you for buying local. We're in Huntsville, Florence, and Coleman, and online at bobwallaceappliance.com.
It's Talkin' Ball's Tailgate Tour, presented by Talent Heating and Air, 256-503-1325, serving Huntsville and the surrounding areas.
There is the horn. Oh, I'm going to miss that next week. We got one more day of it. We'll have it tomorrow as we shift our attention to high school football and our Talking Ball Tailgate Tour presented by Talent Heating and Air. But now we need to shift our attention to the south end of the state, the complete southern end of the state, as we focus on the South Alabama Jaguars for our Talking Ball Tailgate Tour.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's always an honor to speak to the voice of the South Alabama Jaguars. And, of course, we're very familiar with him here in North Alabama. We were at his alma mater and former stomping grounds, UNA, on Monday. But he's done a great job with South Alabama. And Kane Womack coming off of a 10-3 season. They had an outstanding year in the Sun Belt. They're one of the favorites coming into this season now. They have a beautiful new stadium of their own that's still, only a couple years old. Just like UAB, growing every year is South Alabama, and expected to be one of the better group of 5 programs in the country. And J.D. Byers is joining us now here live at Bill Penny Toyota on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. J.D., it's Drew and Scott. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. And, man, if UAB could get their own stadium, that's what I always punch. We tap at each other. Is that South Alabama's campus is their own? It's on campus. It's not a metro, a stadium that they share there, municipal, if you will. No, that's just how we kind of jab at each other. Ours is on campus, but yeah, we're glad to have it. It never gets old.
Well, let's talk about this year. Kane Womack comes off a successful season last year for South Alabama. Obviously, now there's no hiding. You're not going to sneak up on anybody. It's year 2 of the Kane Womack era. What does it have in store?
He made a good point. Even in the off season early, we're talking, January, February last year, especially in spring training. And Coach Womack said, if we do the same thing this coming year in prep over the summer, the fall, et cetera, if we do the same thing we did for 10 wins, it will be very bad. Everybody knows us. They know more about our schemes with Major Applewhite as the OC, Corey Batoon as the defensive coordinator. So they have to improve in all areas. And this team is bought into the level, and this is what gets a lot of attention and makes eyes open, is all of the talent that was on the squad last year that led to 10 wins. All of that talent that is now on preseason award watch list, 5 on the Reese's Senior Bowl watch list, et cetera, they didn't leave. Every team in America has been hit by transfer portal. Even great programs, there's really good second stringers that leave. Or, in G5, there's a starter that wants to be in a Power 5. But really, there were no transfers on the 1 and 2 deep that has impacted this team. They are all back. 20 starters, including the quarterback return, the coaching staff minus 1 position assistant return. So it should be a really great season for South Alabama.
Well, and JD, you talked about not being hit by the transfer portal. We were at Alabama A&M yesterday. They talked about how they've been hit. We had Trent Dilfer on just a few minutes ago. He's talked about poaching during the offseason. How did Kane Womack build such a special culture where you're able to retain your players?
I think, I'm not saying he's young, but he's one of the youngest in FBS.
36, I think.
Because of, I think they relate to him, and he knows how to relate to the player. Bear Bryant used to always say the same thing wins, it always won, but now we just have a bunch of different excuses when we lose. So he's not a pushover. He's not changing expectations, disciplines, things like that, but he knows how to relate to these guys, to keep them focused, but also to keep it enjoyable, to make them take ownership. During early fall camp, something that resonated with me is when he said they bought into the level that leadership is apparent, that the upperclassmen have taken the role to keep it generational, where leadership, kind of sets the pace to the new guys that, hey, we don't do that here, or hey, that's not expected here. You need to leave that in the locker room or at your apartment. And the coaches say because of that, they don't have to teach it. They don't have to stop a period and spend 10 minutes. They don't have to stop in the meeting room with the projectors on and say, hey, stop. This is how we do this. Pay attention. Write this down. The seniors are handling that. So the culture now has changed and appears generational under Kane Womack.
Well, it helps, too, as far as expectations go when you return some offensive skill players. You return your quarterback, Carter Bradley. You've got running back LaDamian Webb. You got wide receiver Colin Lacey. That's a pretty good trio, JD, to return.
Yeah, when you've got 5 on the Reese's Senior Bowl watch list, that tells you something. But then, you got LaDamian Webb, who rushed for 1,067, I think, last year. He missed an entire game and had few, select carries coming back from an injury, but still rushed for over 1,000. He's back. Carter Bradley, big arm. Kane Womack describes it as good or better than he had seen since Michael Penix, who I think was in Indiana before he transferred out west. And you got Carter here. Speaking of watch list, it seems like there's a million, but he's already on. This is a G5 quarterback. He's on the Manning, the Davey O'Brien, the Maxwell, the Werfel, and the Johnny Unitas Golden Arm watch list. And it goes on and on with speedsters like Colin Lacey, who's a Mobile product, Devin Boysen, who stepped up last year when everybody was looking over at another marquee receiver. It's tough to be a marquee receiver a second year in this program because 4 of the last 5 years, the Jags have put one really good one in the NFL. And, of course, it happened again last year. So it's kind of turned in, and maybe that's also relevant to the transfer portal in that receivers especially know you can get to the professional ranks through Mobile, Alabama.
Well, and I will say you've been doing this a long time, both at UNA and at South Alabama, but have you ever had a tougher first half of a schedule for the Jags? I mean, you're opening with a team that beat Caleb Williams, the Heisman Trophy winner, in the Cotton Bowl in Tulane on the road in New Orleans, and you finished the year in New Orleans at the New Orleans Bowl last year. And, I mean, 4 of the first 6 on the road in some very difficult venues, JD.
Yeah, you know what? That thing's getting some national attention. It's going to be on ESPN, South Alabama at Tulane. But you almost have a sub-storyline where both of these programs almost beat both of the Los Angeles schools because you had, like you mentioned, the Green Wave beating USC in Texas. South Alabama had UCLA beaten at the Rose Bowl last year, led in every statistical category. I don't think UCLA led at any point in the game until they drove late and kicked a short field goal to win by 1. Otherwise, South Alabama beats the Bruins in Pasadena. If you look at it, and it's the nature of being a G5, is by the end of the year, you're not playing an SEC schedule, so you really kind of gauge your success and the value of your opponents in that how many had a winning season. But the first 4 straight, if I'm not mistaken, for the Jags, all had winning seasons last year. Several had made bowl games, so you're right. It's going to be tough starting out, and then when conference starts as well, the first 2 or 3 are going to be toughies too.
Well, let's talk about, and you mentioned Major Applewhite, offensive coordinator. Alabama fans remember him because he was on Nick Saban's early staff. If there's another successful year offensively, JD, do you think this is his last year there at South Alabama? Is he going to garner some interest?
It will have to be a good job because they've been coming consistently, and I'm talking head coaching jobs.
Yeah.
He listened during the off season this year, but there's something special going on here. It's hard to go under the radar these days, and he already has quite a resume, a very good reputation. A Texas Longhorn quarterback, ties to Tuscaloosa, named after Major Ogilvy, his dad, an assistant for Bear Bryant. But, I think now you can kind of understand that he's been around the block. He's been a head coach. He's been a big-time coordinator. It needs to be the right fit. Corey Batoon probably doesn't get enough credit, the defensive coordinator. He was with Kane Womack at Indiana, and those 2 guys are really doing some special things.
Yeah, they really do. They got a special staff over there. And it's been a big-time, going into year 3, big-time turnaround last year. As you said, both sides of the football both played at a very high level. When you're in your mind, you just talked about offensively what they have returning. What kind of defense? You just talked about Carter Batoon, the job he's done. Tell us about defensively what the expectations are.
again, with both sides of the ball returning 20, and I say 20 because it was 19, but we get Keith Gallman back at safety, who was a preseason all-conference before last season, but got hurt in camp. We missed him the whole year. So it's good to have him back there. But you got Yam Banks, who's on tons of preseason watch lists, including the Senior Bowl. Wykevius Thomas is on the Reese's Senior Bowl watch list. Trey Kaiser was a big surprise. He'll be at middle linebacker. And then you get, a kid, you get to move to outside linebacker that opens up a hole for him. Quentin Wilfon is going to be an edge rusher this time instead of anchored in the middle, but he can still get sideline to sideline. That's going to be fun to watch. So a lot of returnees. I think because of putting certain guys in certain places, one of the goals was really wanting to excel at creating havoc in the backfield, making quarterbacks uncomfortable, get there early. I think we may have had some times last year where, any program in America, if you're UAB, Jack State, you want to put a quarterback in a rushed and uncomfortable position. They're not as accurate, mistakes can happen, and it all starts right there. So that'll be, to see if that works will be a fun little sidebar as we get to watch this team early.
JD, what's your thoughts on the Sun Belt Conference this year? How do you see this one playing out? A lot of talented teams there. Troy is coming along. I know that's a big rivalry game for South, but how do you see the Sun Belt playing out?
I think the West, everybody's looking at us.
Okay.
And I don't think there's any surprise. The East, I think, App State, I don't know if they've peaked or not because they kind of went through some coaches, which happens in G5. But Grayson McCall at Coastal Carolina, they lose their head coach, but McCall is in like his 19th year of eligibility. And the guy, he almost go to Auburn?
Yeah.
Yes, in Florida.
He flirted there, yep.
Both, yeah.
Yeah, he toyed with the transfer portal, but man, he's so good. Now he's up there and he's taking a lot of hits, so he's kind of prone to injury. They'll have to protect him, but I think if you looked without playing a single snap, you kind of wanted to know who are the favorites to make it to the Sun Belt Championship game. Would be the Jags and the Chanticleers.
Wow.
Yeah, that would be quite a matchup too.
You're not going to pick your biggest rival, Troy, are you?
They got to get the belt back, man. Come on.
Where are they? Yeah, if they can get past that one red light in town to get out of town and get on the bus and get to a game. But when we play there though, and the utility company, because when they turn on the lights, it's more electricity than they'll use over the whole town for a year. But we play there this year, and hopefully they will have corrected the ice problem. They've been out for a while since the guy who knew the recipe graduated. But I don't know.
Well, it's been awesome having you, and I've been following your career for a long time. It's hardly year 10 for you as the voice of the Jags, JD.
Yeah, it's flown by, and gosh, I was just kind of looking back. Somebody had some pictures of historic, venerable Ladd Peebles Stadium, and that seems like an eternity ago now, playing on campus. But yeah, it's flown by.
It really has. Well, good luck to the Jags. It's going to be a heck of a showcase in New Orleans against Tulane. That's going to be one of the bigger games, especially maybe the biggest Group of 5 game in the country on September 2nd. And then, of course, Hancock-Whitney Stadium, the home opener on September the 9th against Southeastern Louisiana. We really appreciate the time, man. Good luck to the Jags, and thank you for the time.
Yeah.
No, thank you for the invitation. I appreciate it. I like catching up with you fellas. Take care.
Thanks, JD. If you find an IHOP, pull in and enjoy some pancakes. Gotta get a break in. Oh, more Talking Ball Tailgate Tour when we return.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
There's only so many ways you can say we're problem-free this morning, but it's one of those mornings. We don't have anything on the board accident-wise, no stalls, no traffic signal headaches to report to you. That can change quickly, so you be safe on the rest of your ride in. Popeye's $6 big box is back with 2 pieces of hand-breaded signature chicken or 8 chicken nuggets, 2 sides, and a buttermilk biscuit for $6. Popeye's, University in Jordan, 72 in Jeff and North Parkway. Captain Nick in the Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Billy, your gas light's on. We need to stop and fill up.
No way, Jen. Gas around here is too expensive. We can make it a little further.
Billy, listen to your big sister. You don't need to drive all over searching for the lowest gas prices. Do what I do and use Upside.
Upside?
Do you live under a rock, Billy? Upside is the hottest cashback app out there. It's free to download, and you get real cash back for every gallon of gas you buy. I use it all the time, and I've already made around $200.
You can make that kind of cash back just for buying the gas you have to buy anyway?
Yes, I'm looking at the Upside app now, and there's a gas station at the next exit offering 25 cents per gallon cash back.
Okay, I'm stopping to download Upside and fill up my tank. Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code FRIEND to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, to PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code FRIEND for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code FRIEND for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Do you want your next party to be something you'll remember? Then head on down to Flow Supremaire to book your next big bash. Birthday? Corporate meeting? Maybe just a family reunion so you can get your cousin Kyle back into the basketball court so you can beat him at basketball. I don't have no idea. Flow is fun for all ages looking for high-flying excitement, arcade fun, and tasty snacks to satisfy your hunger. Whether you have 10 friends or 25, Flow is jam-packed with something fun for everyone. Get jumping with Flow off South Parkway in Drake or head over to flowhuntsville.com to book your next party now.
Not looking or feeling your best? No energy for the things you like to do? Ready to look and feel younger? Make your appointment at Advanced Life Clinic, one of the region's foremost destinations for patients interested in looking and feeling their best. Specializing in advanced laser treatments and weight loss, male and female rejuvenation to offset the effects of aging, and more. See how Advanced Life Clinic can help you enjoy your life again. Call 256-882-6555 or log on advancedlifeclinic.com.
With us today, Dr. Tracy Lowry of Best Vein Care of Huntsville.
When we evaluate a patient and they indeed have significant venous disease, most third-party payers, private insurance, Medicare, require us to treat every patient conservatively at least 90 days. Conservative treatment includes increasing ambulation, elevation of the legs, and the wearing of compression stockings. It's very common for folks to come see us in March or April wanting to have their veins fixed before they go into swimsuits starting in June. When we see someone in March or April, they're going to require at least 90 days of conservative treatment before we can even go to the insurance carrier to get permission to treat their veins. So if you think you have a venous problem, now is the time to come in and get a free screening so we can determine whether or not you need something evaluated. If you have a vein problem or you think you may have a vein problem, now's the time to contact us at bestveincarehuntsville.com.
Great food and the best live entertainment is what it's all about at the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill. Head to downtown Huntsville every Tuesday for karaoke on the only outdoor karaoke stage in North Alabama. Thursday night is the Valley's longest running and biggest bike night. Food and drink specials, giveaways, and live music on the patio. And the Furniture Factory menu is fully loaded with options from steaks to salads, plus a whole lot more. Featuring a weekday happy hour that starts at 3. 619 Meridian Street, downtown Huntsville, and online at FurnitureFactoryBarGrill.com.
It's Talkin' Balls Tailgate Tour, presented by Talent Heating and Air, 256-503-1325, serving Huntsville and the surrounding areas.
Welcome back, Talking Ball 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond. Indeed, it is our Talking Ball Tailgate Tour presented by Talent Heating and Air. We're live again this morning from Bill Penny Toyota, sitting out here in the service department Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. on Saturday, 7 to 5. They can service your vehicle. Alabama back on the practice fields again yesterday. It also meant another chance for us to hear from Alabama head coach Nick Saban. Saban talking about the quarterback room as everybody is still enamored with who is going to start for Alabama against Middle Tennessee.
Yeah, but that's kind of up to them. Like I said in here before, I told the quarterbacks, I said, quit looking around for me to make a decision about who's going to play. How about you playing good enough that I don't have a choice? That's what you can control. That's what you can do, and somebody needs to do that. And it's sort of, taking shape to some degree, but somebody's got to do it. And, where you all think that, like whoever we name as a starter for the first game, that's like the end of it. It's not the end of it. It's just the beginning. So what if the guy doesn't play good? He's not entitled to keep playing. And the guy that doesn't play is got every opportunity to practice and be more consistent and win the team over so that when he gets an opportunity to play, he plays really well. I mean, we have changed quarterbacks around here a few times during the season. So I know you guys are looking for an end, but it's not even going to be the end in the first game. You're looking at me kind of funny. Am I not explaining that very well?
I didn't explain it very well in my question, I suspect, but I was wondering about
I know you asked, and I just don't want to answer it because we're going to make the best of it for our team, and our team has to make the best of it as well. So, and whoever plays the position, everybody's got to play well around them and do the best job that they can to help them play well.
So, okay, you listened to what Nick Saban had to say. You've gone through 2 scrimmages. You've seen one of those scrimmages. I mean, is it panic time because Alabama does not have a definitive starter right now? We expect Jalen Milroe. Is it panic time, or is it just take a deep breath and let things play out?
No, it's not panic time because Alabama's been through this before. I mean, there wasn't as many guys involved. And again, I'm not sure it's down to 2 guys. Coach Saban did tell you, though, that it's starting to take shape, but him being very specific and saying that the first game is the beginning just shows you. I mean, he wasn't talking about it like that with Bryce Young. He wasn't talking about it like that even with Mac Jones coming in to start his first game in 2020.
Right.
This is the first time I've heard him use this kind of vernacular as far as describing the situation, and he's telling the truth. I think it's going to play out in front of everyone's eyes in Bryant-Denny Stadium, and potentially even maybe after that, as far as when they finally do travel and go on the road. It could be when they hit the road, their first road contest where it's decided. Should it be decided before they play Texas? Ideally, yes, but it may not be. Every situation is different. We'll see. I mean, as I tweeted last night, I think that, or X'd or whatever the hell you call it, posted. I don't know what they call it now. But anyway, I just think, if Jalen Milroe plays well against Middle Tennessee,
right,
I think they're going to play multiple guys, if Alabama plays well as a team around the quarterback. And then if he does, though, he will start against Texas. If he plays well against Texas, then the chances are it's not 100% lock, just because, again, he could struggle in another game and another young man could get an opportunity. Jalen Hurts did not lose the job until the national championship game. But if he plays well against Texas, the chances are that he has a golden opportunity to be the starting quarterback for the majority, if not all, the season, barring injury. But we'll see.
Is that a good thing, though? If Jalen Milroe constantly has to feel like he's looking over his shoulder, because if he slips up, has a bad game, has a bad performance, he could lose that starting job.
I'm just going to repeat what Nick Saban said. Don't look over your shoulder and play and control what you can control, because if you're more worried about the guy behind you, your ass ain't going to be in there anyway. That's the way it is. Play good football and don't worry about the guy behind you. If you play with anxiety, you're not going to be playing.
Adios, huh?
You're going to end up in the transfer portal and you're going to be playing somewhere else.
Lincoln Sharman. All right, let's get a break in. When we come back, David Crane will help us talk some more UAB Blazers as our Talking Ball tailgate tour rolls along from Bill Penny Toyota.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Check out VSiN's catalog of original podcasts, daily and weekly programming to keep you in the know when you're on the go. Only at VSIN.com. Now, here are the latest lines from my guys in the desert.
The college football season gets underway in less than a week. Coming up this Saturday, number 13 Notre Dame battles Navy, while number 6 USC hosts San Jose State. Then on Thursday, August 31st, it'll be number 14 Utah hosting Florida. From there, September the 2nd, pretty much everyone else gets underway. Other games on the 26th, UTEP battles Jacksonville State, UMass at New Mexico State, San Diego State hosts Ohio, Vanderbilt at home against Hawaii, Florida International at Louisiana Tech. Defending champion Georgia the favorite to win the national championship at plus 230, Alabama plus 650.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN The Zone. It's Talkin' Ball's Tailgate Tour, presented by Talent Heating and Air, 256-503-1325, serving Huntsville and the surrounding areas. Welcome to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
And welcome into hour 2 of Talking Ball. Live from Bill Penny Toyota. It is day 4 of our Talking Ball tailgate tour. We have covered every gamut of the state, from the southern end to the northern end to the western end. We don't have anybody on the eastern end, do we? UAB was the, I guess you could say would be the, no, Jacksonville State, my bad. We've talked Jacksonville State as well. So we've covered every gamut. Now we need to flip it back to the UAB Blazers, presented by Talent Heating and Air.
Yeah, absolutely. And, when of course, we've been longtime followers of the University of Alabama here in our state and Auburn. We've covered all of them. If you have been following the University of Alabama, this next gentleman graduated from there and was a part of the Crimson Tide Sports Network for several years, was a big part of their broadcast team. But when you talk about football and especially baseball, and now it's hard to believe 17th season calling the UAB, and he's the voice of the Blazers, football, basketball, baseball, and he will be calling Trent Dilfer's first game. We're fascinated by that. North Carolina A&T at Protective Stadium a week from today, and David Crane's been kind enough to join us on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline to talk some Blazers and the new energy surrounding this program. This has been a good program since it was restarted by Bill Clark, but now it's very, very fascinating to see the job Trent Dilfer's going to do, and David Crane will be on the call, and he's with us this morning. David, you're with Drew and Scott. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, gentlemen. How are y'all?
We are good, sir.
Doing good on a Thursday morning. 1 week from today, you get UAB Blazer football.
Yeah, I'm glad I've still got a week. I'm going to need every day. And I hope it's not 150 degrees next Thursday night when we kick it off. But it's exciting. It's August is usually my least favorite month because it's always practice, and no games. But we do get to kick in late August, so it makes it a little more bearable. And you're right. I think there's a lot of excitement surrounding UAB football and Trent Dilfer and the different dynamic that he has brought to the program, and kind of a different energy. So folks are excited and interested to see what it all looks like next Thursday night when they take the field.
David, you've had a chance to be around him quite a bit, and I know you guys are just getting ready next week to do his weekly coaches show as well, which will be fascinating too for him to be interacting with the fans, because he's a people person. He's a relationship person. He told us that this morning. We had him on earlier. Would it be fair to say, though, as you've been around him, I've never met him in person, and he's a guy that I'd love to, talk ball with one day and, one-on-one. But I've always kind of considered him, since I've followed him at ESPN, to be a football junkie. Would that be an apt description?
Oh, I think so. And he spoke to a group at lunch yesterday here in Birmingham and talked a lot about that, and that some of his earliest childhood memories was going to football practice with his stepdad and riding on the back of the sled that the offensive linemen were pushing around. So he's been around sports really all his life. I think he's a heck of an athlete. He's a tremendous golfer, good basketball player, and kind of admitted that football was probably his third best sport when he was growing up and in high school. But that's the path he took, and obviously it's turned out pretty well for him. And you're right, he loves football. He loves studying it. He had to, you have to do a lot of homework when you're a player, regardless of the level. And then when you transition to broadcasting, the really good ones, some just show up and do it. And others really work at it and research and watch tape and all of those things. And I think he was incredibly good at preparing himself for broadcasting when he was on ESPN. And I think that's going to translate and make my job incredibly easy this year, especially those Monday night radio shows where I'm guessing if we've got him on for about 45 minutes, that may require me to ask 3 questions of him and just sit back and let him do the rest. But it should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, and speaking of fun, I mean, for you have been a part of this whole transition with UAB. You went through Conference USA, and now you have to get used to a whole new conference this year with the American Conference as UAB makes that transition.
It is. It's a new conference, but it's a lot of familiar faces. This is a lot what Conference USA looked like when I first got to UAB back in 2007. So it wasn't long after that a bunch of the schools moved on to the American Athletic Conference, and then CUSA took on a bunch of new members. So it's sort of almost back to where we started when I got here. But it's going to be fun to renew some rivalries and see Memphis on a yearly basis in football and basketball. We've got an amazing trip this year in football. We go play Navy on Veterans Weekend up in Annapolis, and I think everybody's really looking forward to that. So it's going to be nice to see a few new faces. It's going to be great to see some old faces. It's also going to be nice to be taking some of our Conference USA brethren with us into the American. So we're still going to see Charlotte, who is a long-time rival in different leagues for UAB. UTSA's football program has really come on as of late. I think they're a really good addition to the American. So it's going to be nice to see a different mix in the American this year.
I thought it was interesting too. I just watched an interview in the last couple of weeks with Trent Dilfer. It was a long sit down, and he made a great point that this is a great time for UAB and for the American Athletic Conference, because with the Pac-12 being gone and just basically disintegrating, you could make an argument, if this conference continues to improve, that the American Athletic Conference could be the new the fifth power, to replace the Pac-12 as the fifth Power 5.
I feel bad for the Pac-12 folks. My brother-in-law is a Cal graduate, and I'm still good friends with Jared Haas, the head basketball coach at Stanford, and I hate what's happened to them and the schools in the Pac-12. But you put that aside for the moment. They're going to. I think this will all shake itself out eventually at some point. It just feels like we're going through a lot of angst and turmoil to maybe get to a finishing line that I wish people would just have pumped the brakes a little bit. Let's figure out the football aspect of it, and then everything else will work itself out. we see a lot of schools that are in different leagues for different sports. There's no reason you can't be in one conference or affiliation for football and another conference for everything else. But that's a rant for maybe a different time. But there's a lot of evidence that says the American can be really, really, really good, especially in football. Lost some key members last year that are moving on to the Big 12, but it will be curious to see how this conference rates this year when the power rankings are floated out there, and as you get toward playoff time and talking about the playoffs expanding and who gets in and all of those things that smart people, a lot smarter than me, will figure out as we go along.
Well, when you look at UAB and you look at everything that they returned this year, Coach Dilfer says he thinks they have probably the best backfield in the country, not only just in the American, but in the country as a whole. Where do you see UAB stacking up?
It will part of the fun of a season opener. Doesn't matter if you're a new coach or a returning coach. If you've been somewhere 15 years, you never really know what you're going to get until they roll out there and take the field. But I do think this team's going to be able to run the ball. One of the question marks, I guess, has been the offensive line. A lot of new faces, maybe an old face or two, but maybe in a new position, things like that. So that's probably the biggest question mark. But the backs are incredibly talented. You're right, deep. I've got to create an extra column on my spotting boards to squeeze all the running backs in. The backs and the receivers, if that offensive line can protect the quarterback and open up a few gaps, they don't have to be huge, just little creases for these backs to get through. I think this could be a fun UAB offense to watch this year.
Yeah, I really could. And another very intriguing thing is because his brother was such a late bloomer and has now become the NFL's leading rusher with Josh Jacobs with the Las Vegas Raiders. Isaiah Jacobs coming over from Mike Loxley in Maryland. Coach was very complimentary of him. And it's interesting, he called him an NFL player, compared him to Jamal Lewis, which I thought was fascinating. And that could be an outstanding 1-2 punch. And yet another Jacobs who Josh, went to a different high school. I know if I remember correctly, Isaiah went to Union, but still a football family and a very interesting addition for UAB.
Yeah, it really is. And I think his name has shot up the depth chart the moment he stepped on campus and put the pads on. He started moving up the depth chart. Hard to unseat Jermaine Brown, but It wouldn't surprise me to see both of them out there together at times. I do think this offense is going to throw a lot of different looks at teams, a lot of different formations, and it wouldn't shock me necessarily to see both of them out there at the same time to give the defenses really something to think about. But he has shown real flashes of brilliance the little bit that I've been out at practice, and seems like every time he gets his hands on the ball, they have to just eventually blow the whistle and tell him to come back down the field. Yeah, you're going to score. We know that. So just come on back and let's run the next play on the script.
Yeah, absolutely. And then this team overall, they're coming off of a 6-6 year, but Bill Clark laid a great foundation. You've seen the growth, moving from Legion Field now to Protective Stadium, an outstanding facility. I've not been inside Protective, but I've driven by it, covering the best state basketball tournament. It looks beautiful from the outside. It's a great time for UAB, and I think what's so fascinating is you mentioned Charlotte. They've hired Biff Poggi. We've had him on this show. Another guy that came from the high school ranks that built one of the best high school programs in the country. Trent did that with Lipscomb Academy. This is really very intriguing to see what he does in year one at UAB because he's inherited a good program.
Absolutely. The foundation is there, and it's his job to continue the growth, continue the success, take it to a higher level if he can. And no reason to think he can't do that. The success he had at Lipscomb has a lot of folks excited. Obviously, a lot of other people are questioning, can he? Yeah, you won at high school, but can you come in and win at the Division I level in college football? So some interesting hires in the off season. You mentioned Charlotte. I think that one will be interesting to follow all season long.
No doubt. His press conference certainly was at media days.
Yeah, he's a different character apparently. So I'm thrilled to be working with Coach Dilfer and looking forward to a fun season.
Well, good stuff.
Absolutely. We and David, for our listeners as well, with Coach Dilfer and what they're going to do with this program in year one, and of course this new conference. As you've gotten a feel for the coaching staff, there's some familiar names. Alex Mortensen, who of course was at Alabama on 2 different occasions. As you've been to practice and gotten a feel for it, you were there for Bill Clark and the amazing job he did. How much different is it going to be watching this UAB team?
I don't know. It really will come down to next Thursday night, I think. I'm excited with all of the youth and enthusiasm I see out there from the coaching staff. I think he has done Trent's done a great job of hiring his staff, and not just the assistants, but the support staff and all of those different individuals that you now need in college athletics to run a successful program. And I think he's got a lot of good people in place, and a lot of them are truly coaching at the Division I level for the first time. So there may be some bumps along the way. There are bumps along the way for every team, even Alabama and Auburn with coaches that have been there forever. You're going to have some hiccups along the way. It's a long season. But I think Trent is very optimistic and enthusiastic about the staff he has put together. And you can see it out at practice. The energy level is high. The enthusiasm is high. So no reason to think this is not going to be a fun team to watch in 2023.
Well, David, as we wrap it up, we had J.D. Byers on in hour number 1. Yeah. And he told me to tell you that Hartselle is better than Decatur.
Well, there is a saying that you can't fix stupid. You just have to say bless your heart from time to time and move along, and that's what you do.
Well, we appreciate it, David. Have a great call a week from today, and hopefully a great season for UAB. I know it's been a little while since we've caught up, but thank you for taking the time, and we look forward to a great year for Trent Dilfer, and we're certainly going to be watching. I find him fascinating, and I think you're very blessed to be able to be the voice of the Blazers and continued success, and thank you for the time this morning.
Appreciate it, guys. Look forward to catching up again soon.
All right, David Crane with us. Let's get a break in. More Talking Ball live from Bill Penny Toyota on our Talking Ball Tailgate Tour presented by Talent Heating and Air.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Not a bad looking ride in this morning. Traffic moving along nicely. We've had a couple little minor accidents, but they haven't caused any major problems. You be careful on the rest of your trip in. We got a lot of folks in last-minute dash mode this morning. Snelling needs a junior purchasing agent, a temporary receiving clerk, and an admin with accounting experience. Snelling, how the area's best companies hire talent. Huntsville.snelling.com. Captain Nick in the North Parkway Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
Work injuries happen in Alabama all the time, whether it's an accident at work, getting injured, lifting heavy objects, hurting your hands on a machine, or just performing the same movement over and over until your body breaks down. But when it happens, there's only one law firm to call in Alabama. That's Pond, Lehocky, Giordano. For personalized legal support, reach out to Pond Lehocky at 855-774-3838 or pondlehocky.com.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if the pros trust SportsMed, you can too. SportsMed provides every service you might need for complete orthopedic care, specializing in orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, joint replacement, spine surgery, neurosurgery, and podiatry. And they offer their own brace shop, in-house full-body MRI, physical therapy, walk-in clinic, and so much more. 4 locations and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com.
Valley Equipment Rental has grown by leaps and bounds over the past year and is adding more and more equipment to their already impressive fleet. Valley is a locally owned family equipment rental business serving the entire Tennessee Valley. They concentrate on the local contractors, building repeat business and specializing in long-term rentals for their local contractors. The benefit of long-term rental is that they stay on top of their assets. If something you own goes down in the field, you have to stop and fix it before you can finish the job. With Valley Equipment Rental, they will fix it on site or bring you another machine while that one's being fixed. More importantly, Valley is locally owned and operated, which means when you have an issue, you can get someone on it right away, right here in the Valley. Heck, ask for Ross Roberts, the owner, if you like. Try calling one of the big box national outlets and asking for the owner. That's if you can even get through the automation. Buy local. Buy Valley Equipment Rental. Valley Equipment Rental has 2 locations, one on the North and South Parkway. Learn more at valleyequipmentrents.com.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
The Huntsville Sports Commission is responsible for bringing high-level sports entertainment to the Rocket City. In 2023, enjoy events like the CCSA Beach Volleyball Championships, Hometown Lenders Championship, UCI Paracycling Road World Cup, and so much more. To learn more about upcoming events and the Huntsville Sports Commission, visit HuntsvilleSports.com. The Huntsville Sports Commission. We do sports.
It's Talkin' Ball's Tailgate Tour, presented by Talent Heating and Air, 256-503-1325, serving Huntsville and the surrounding areas.
There you go, a little beep beep bringing us back. We're live from Bill Penny Toyota. It is our Talking Ball Tailgate Tour presented by Talent Heating and Air. We have focused on the UAB Blazers and the South Alabama Jaguars today. Tomorrow, the attention turns to high school football. And then we will get a Saturday edition show live from University Key. I still don't know what time we're doing the show. I'd imagine we're doing it before UNA's game against Mercer at the Crampton Bowl on Saturday, but we'll have to figure that one out. LSU set to open against Florida State. Season opener. We know how this one played out last year in New Orleans. LSU started off slow. Florida State had LSU on the ropes. LSU an extra point away, I believe, from tying the game last year. They missed the extra point. They slip up against Florida State. This is part of that home and home series. LSU will travel on the road. But LSU last year, Mason Smith tears his ACL in this game. Only plays a handful of plays, a couple snaps in this one. They deal with the loss of Mason Smith for the year. Against the opener against Florida State this year, they will be without Mason Smith once again as he is suspended because he received improper benefits. Now, our good friend Matt Moscona saying that Mason Smith and Keyshawn Butte participated in an autograph signing during the summer of 2021. This is why Mason Smith is suspended. Well, if you're wondering why, is because that was pre-NIL in 2021. So it was not NIL. You could not sign autographs in 2021. So that is why Mason Smith is being suspended for one game. He fully cooperated with the NCAA investigation, but still gets a game suspension.
And because he missed the season with an ACL last year, he got hurt, early on. In the first series, really, early in the first quarter. That game was played in New Orleans against Florida State. This game will be played in Orlando, both on neutral sites. But interesting that he probably could have served the suspension last year once they came down with the penalty for that 2021 autograph session. But he could have missed the season then, or excuse me, a game during last season, pardon me. But because he tore his ACL, because he was not going to play in any games, the NCAA has decided to suspend him for the first game against Florida State in Orlando. So, again, it's now legalized. It wouldn't even be an issue. And Butte moved on to the NFL after, he had a clunker of a last season in Baton Rouge, an up-and-down season, to say the least. But, again, and if he had stayed, because it looked as though he was going to stay and return, but everybody knows the weird ending to his career during, when he decided to – it was pretty much announced during the bowl game that he was not returning for LSU's bowl win last year in the Cheez-It Bowl. He would have probably been suspended for a game too. But he's moved on to the NFL. There's nothing the NCAA can do to him. And so we'll see. But more, just stupidity they need to be worried about, putting guardrails on NIL and instead of chasing ambulances and worrying about things that really are legal now. I don't really understand the NCAA at all, never have. But, of course, they're always reactive, not proactive.
Well, if you go back in time,
that's why you just don't – you have to
I believe Johnny Manziel only got a half for signing autographs, and he was.
And according to Johnny Boy, when he wasn't doing cocaine and whatever other drugs, and of course I haven't seen the Netflix series, but I've seen the excerpts and the people talking about it. Johnny Boy lied to everybody. Made up a story about his family being rich and was buying a Mercedes with all the stuff he was signing.
Well, our good friend Ross Dellinger, who now is with Yahoo, points out that it was only a matter of days or weeks when Mason Smith was doing this autograph signing that NIL kicked in and it would have been fully legal. So days or weeks. I mean, that's how close it was to being part of the NIL. And now Brian Kelly having to figure out how to just fulfill or replace that spot for one game.
At the very least, they know what the expectation is and what's going to happen, so they should be able to plan for this and be able to. Now, they're playing a very quality opponent. I mean, this is a top 10 matchup. You could argue it's the biggest game of the opening weekend.
Right.
Okay? And you're going to be without a guy that some people believe is going to have a breakout year and can end up being a first-round draft choice. He's a former 5-star recruit, so it could very well affect it. And it looked like he was going to be off to a strong start last year when he got injured. Matter of fact, he got injured celebrating. That's
it wasn't
weird.
Even really you're right, no contact.
It was a no-contact injury. It's just one of these freakish football things. And so, but at least LSU has a chance to, adjust. At least the NCAA didn't, wait till he got off the bus and get to the team hotel and say, oh, by the way, Mason, we're not allowing you to play in this game. Because that would have been another thing that those morons might have done.
Well, we do know for sure that Alabama will take on LSU later in the season. They will have Mason Smith available for that. We know Alabama will take on Texas in week 2 of the college football season.
And we've already talked about, that we might even not still be deciding the quarterback battle when they travel to Tampa, Florida. I mean, it may not even be decided after Texas. And I know that will probably make a lot of people want to drink, but it may not be. We'll see. I mean, Coach Saban's kind of warning you about that this is going to be an ongoing battle.
Well, Urban Meyer, your friend, Urban Meyer, had his takes on LSU in Texas, 2 of Alabama's common opponents.
I want to know why. I haven't watched any.
I got 2 teams. I got Texas.
Hold on. What was that again?
No. I know you were setting up the audio. I just wonder when they had Swamp Kings on Netflix, why Cop's theme wasn't playing.
Well, apparently that is a whole other topic because apparently everyone now that has been watching Swamp Kings has been with great anticipation wanting to see where the Cam Newton saga would show up at, how much of the Aaron Hernandez story we would see in Swamp Kings, Percy Harvin choking out the wide receiver coach there. None of that was mentioned in Swamp Kings. None of that was done. They said that it really was a rehab project for Urban Meyer's image, almost, because it made him look like. You can confirm that, Bailey?
Of course they did.
Yeah, they didn't do any of the hard-hitting stuff with that Florida Gator Swamp King team. Made Tim Tebow – Tim Tebow is a great guy. I'm not going to say it made him look better, but it really heaped on the Tim Tebow and Urban Meyer train. Well, anyway, though, here is Urban Meyer, though, talking about Texas and LSU.
Yeah, I got two teams. I got Texas. At some point, Texas is too good of a place. The coach, Sarkisian, is too good of a coach. They are loaded. There's 5-star athlete at every position on offense. Yeah. At Texas. I watched them against Alabama last year. They should have won that game, but when yours doesn't go down, I believe Texas beats Alabama in the whole 2023 two seasons completely different.
Yeah.
And then the other team is LSU. I think LSU's got a fine coach. I think he adapted much quicker than I thought. LSU is a tough-ass place to play. And they're, he's a good, tough coach now. So I got Texas and LSU are two teams that I see them, if not in the playoff, they're going to be right there.
Well, there's a reason he ain't coaching. That's all I'll say. Because he was the biggest joke in the history of the NFL. I'll say that again. The biggest joke in the history of the National Football League was Herb trying to coach those guys.
But he's got 2 national championships.
He's got 3.
Or 3, my bad. He's got 3 national championships.
Yeah,
so he can obviously coach the game of college
16 NCAA
football.
investigations, or however the hell many there was where he left.
Right.
But, he got basically ran out of both places because he couldn't control the off-the-field stuff. At both Florida and Ohio State. Now, he is a great coach, and he may be right. I think Texas does have the potential to be very good. Still like Alabama over them. I think Alabama will figure out the quarterback position. LSU's got to come to Tuscaloosa. I still like Alabama there. And, of course, but we'll see. I think LSU has I picked them number 2 in the West just like I did a year ago. They ended up winning it. But they still lost 4 games. People are sort of glossing over that fact, and Dirt Neck beat them. But, again, I still think LSU's got a great roster, though. They've got a chance to be really good. But Urban Meyer also, people must not forget it. I don't think when Alabama won the national championship in 2009, he didn't expect Alabama to whitewash Florida.
Right.
And I think he and Pete Carroll both thought that Texas was going to get Alabama that year too, and they did not. So we'll see. But I think Alabama's schedule sets up pretty well. All the big games are at home. But I kind of like the fact that a lot of people are kind of discounting Alabama, thinking that Texas is going to beat them, thinking that LSU's better than them. We'll see.
Is it all okay? I tell you what, it's 8:31. I have a question for you, and we'll ask that question when we get back. It does deal with Alabama. We also need to hear more from Nick Saban because he talked about the defense yesterday. Good little clip there. But I've got a question for you when we return. It is our Talking Ball Tailgate Tour presented by Talent Heating and Air, coming to you live from Bill Penny Toyota on a Thursday.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A mostly to partly sunny sky this afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the upper 90s. Some of us going to be talking about the lower 100s. Heat indices going to be climbing anywhere between 109 and 111 degrees. Not a drop of rain in the forecast. We only drop into the mid-70s through the overnight, early into your Friday morning. Mostly sunny sky through Friday afternoon. Temperatures climbing consistently into the lower triple digits. It is going to be an incredibly hot evening for Friday night football across all of North Alabama, Southern, Middle Tennessee. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
It looks like we just may make it through the morning problem-free. We've had a couple little minor accidents around. Had one at Weatherly and the Parkway, just west of the Parkway. That one was a no injury. But everything else has been super smooth this morning. You be careful. We got a lot of folks in last-minute dash mode. No hose, no mask. You can ask Dr. Sandman, that's Dr. Sandlin, for the medically proven benefits of the Somnodent for sleep apnea and for snoring. Dr. Sandlin, 350-CARE. Captain Eck in the 72 and Jeff, Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com.
With us today, Dr. Tracy Lowry of Best Vein Care of Huntsville.
When we evaluate a patient and they indeed have significant venous disease, most third-party payers, private insurance, Medicare, require us to treat every patient conservatively at least 90 days. Conservative treatment includes increasing ambulation, elevation of the legs, and the wearing of compression stockings. It's very common for folks to come see us in March or April wanting to have their veins fixed before they go into swimsuits starting in June. When we see someone in March or April, they're going to require at least 90 days of conservative treatment before we can even go to the insurance carrier to get permission to treat their veins. So if you think you have a venous problem, now is the time to come in and get a free screening so we can determine whether or not you need something evaluated. If you have a vein problem or you think you may have a vein problem, now's the time to contact us at bestveincarehuntsville.com.
Tom Abraham here for my friend Brian Hamaker and his team at North Alabama Mortgage. Look, buying a home is the biggest purchase you will make in your life, and it can be a bit intimidating, so you want people that can help walk you through the mortgage process and get you the best deal possible. That's what North Alabama Mortgage does, and they do it in Alabama, Tennessee, and Florida, from first-time purchases to refis, conventional, VA, FHA, and USDA loans. They have the solution at North Alabama Mortgage. Visit NorthAlabamaMortgage.com to learn more. That's NorthAlabamaMortgage.com.
The kitchen is the heart of any home. It's where the family gathers. It's where kids discover old recipes and make them their own. Just starting out or just now getting started on the dream kitchen you've always wanted?
I'm Chris Haygood, and from all of us here at Bob Wallace Appliance to the home builders and the homeowners of the Huntsville area, a heartfelt thank you for buying local. We're in Huntsville, Florence, and Coleman, and online at bobwallaceappliance.com.
It's Talkin' Ball's Tailgate Tour, presented by Talent Heating and Air, 256-503-1325, serving Huntsville and the surrounding areas.
Fortunately, you may get the beep beep if you call that number. Yeah, you want to call 503-4490, 256-503-4490. That is the right number to Talent Heating and Air. Boy, I feel real good saying that. Anyway, Talent Heating and Air, serving Huntsville and surrounding areas. Give them all a call. Visit them at talenthvac.com. You got heat indexes about 114 out there, so you're going to want to make sure you give them a call if that air is not working today, or if you feel like it's not working, if you just need to get a routine maintenance. Now's a good time to get the maintenance so it doesn't break down when we have all this hot heat.
No doubt. I mean, I thought I almost lost 5 pounds walking from the car to the front door yesterday.
That's like a 3-yard walk.
I don't care. It was hot.
It's like 5 steps.
Because I did an interview in the car, and I couldn't get out of the car. So it was bacon, man.
Anyway.
Like an incubator.
So the question that I was going to ask you, and before we hear more from Nick Saban, and you mentioned that you said, hey, you like the idea that a lot of the national experts are saying, hey, Alabama's taking a step back. We like LSU in this game. We maybe like Texas in that Week 2 matchup because Steve Sarkisian. But the question I was going to ask you, though, is where do you think and why do you think and why is Alabama showing so much vulnerability in the national experts' eyes? Why are they being picked not to beat Texas? Why is it? Is it because of Is it because we don't know the quarterback?
That's the whole thing.
That's the only thing.
Because I saw some clown on TikTok. I don't know, if he smoked a doobie or whatever the hell he was saying yesterday, but he said I didn't recognize him. I don't know who he is, but I guess he was trying to make a name for himself. But he was like, "Yeah, Alabama will finish third in the West, and I don't know if they'll finish that high." And I was like, "Well, brother, I don't know, I really don't know what you put in your coffee this morning." But, now to say they're not even going to finish in the top 3 in the West,
right.
I think that's taking it a little far. Alabama's roster is still really, really good. And I think they have one of these 4 QBs will figure it out. And if they do, and when they do, I think Alabama's going to be very good. Now the only question is, could it cost Alabama a game? If it does, Alabama would still be alive for the SEC West and college football playoff. But the key is you don't want it to cost you 2 games. And if they can get this thing figured out, then they're going to be in contention. There's no question about it. But I think the big thing is because Bryce Young meant so much to that team. He's moved on. He's been the number 1 overall pick in the NFL draft. And Alabama didn't make the playoff last year. They didn't win their division. And so a lot of people are thinking, well, LSU returns this and that, and Jaden Daniels and Mason Smith and a really good football team. Well, they can win the West. And then Georgia, who has as many questions as Alabama, but all of a sudden, since Georgia went 15-0 and won the national championship, well, Georgia's just going to reload. That's what everybody's saying.
Right.
And
that was the conversation
the other big
we
thing
used to have with
too
Alabama
is Georgia has an easy schedule. They do. Until Tennessee, they really do have an easy schedule. If all these guys step in like I think they're going to, and Georgia has a seamless transition. Now, what you can't control is injuries. What if freak injuries happen? I think what I heard yesterday is Branson Robinson likely won't be available for Georgia this year, the running back. So that's one injury. And we talked with Brooks Austin last week, and he told us that's the one position he was worried about. Because he said, look, man, every year Kirby's been in Athens, they've had a running back one, and a dude that I looked at and said NFL. He's going to the NFL.
They don't have that.
Now he's like, I'm not sure they do. Right. And so, but again, nobody's really questioning that. They still think Georgia's going to keep rolling, and yet they're questioning Alabama big time. But we'll see. But when you're the king, everybody wants to knock you off. And matter of fact, my guy that was putting cocaine in his coffee or whatever, he called Alabama a decaying dynasty, which I thought was another really interesting take. Obviously the team that he covers must have taken a lot of poundings from Alabama because, using the word decaying, that's a little bit much.
Right.
They're 11-2. He's on the greatest run in the history of the sport. In the history of the sport, and it's not debatable. If you think it is debatable, give yourself a lobotomy and leave the profession.
Haven't heard that one in a few weeks. One of the things that you have brought up, points that you have brought up about last year's Alabama team is that Pete Golding, a.k.a. Wild Turkey, gave some Maalox moments to Alabama fans because of the play of the defense. Missed tackles, penalties, lack of discipline, whatever you want to call it, has been a thorn in the side of these Alabama defenses over the last couple years. Nick Saban yesterday addressing the defense.
I think just about every time something bad happens, and when I say bad happens, I'm talking about an explosive play. It's either about missed tackles or mental errors. And I think we've gotten better at eliminating, some of those. But one of the things I didn't think we did as well in the last scrimmage as the first scrimmage is tackle. And, that goes back to how you practice. We don't really ever and have never practiced where you tackle people in practice. But you have to thud them. Right, so you get in position to tackle the guy, you near leg your shoulder, you wrap the guy up, so you're always in position to tackle. And if you do that consistently, then when you have to tackle people. You're going to be in the right position. And that's something that we really emphasize with our players, this week to try to improve the tackling.
Tackling has been an issue with this Alabama defense. It was an issue last year.
It was, but it's looked much better in the spring and into the fall. I mean, I think they're going to be a much sounder team. I think they're going to be assignment sound. I still think their discipline's going to be better. Now we'll have to wait and see against Middle Tennessee and then on into playing against the vaunted Texas Longhorns, who are headed to the playoff, according to Urban Meyer. Of course, part of what Urban said about them having 5 stars at every position, and it's almost like he's putting the onus on Steve Sarkisian, like he may be thinking, you know what, I should have took that job instead of trying to go to the NFL and prove that I'm incompetent. But I mean, that's another thing, another question for another day. But we'll see.
Urban's never coming for dinner.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't piss on him. But again, I mean, because he's a scumbag. He's one of the biggest scumbags in coaching. I mean, now he can run a fluff piece on the Swamp Kings, and they had some great football teams, but they also got their tails kicked by Alabama on multiple occasions, and he got run out of the league by Nick Saban. That is another thing that's not debatable. When you have to say you got to take nerve medication and all this stuff, and your wife wants you to live, blah blah blah. Come on. And if you talk to people close to that program about what was really going on, again, you can watch the Netflix thing all you want, but it's pretty much garbage. They only told half the story, the other half would be on TMZ. But that's again.
Oh, I tell you what, it is. What time is it? It's 8:44. Let's get this final break in, because when we come back, we'll crank up our tomorrow's headlines today. We'll run down some of these high school football schedules. We'll get you ready again for our Talking Ball Tailgate Tour presented by Talent Heating and Air. Let them put their talent to work for you.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Looks like we're going to wrap up this morning in good shape. We've had a couple of little minor accidents through the morning, but we haven't had anything major problem-wise. You be careful on the rest of your trip in. You and a lot of other people are in last-minute dash mode this morning. Expert Heart by Advanced Technology. When you need cardiac care, you need the Heart Doctor. Dr. Randall Burns and the team at Huntsville Heart Specialist on Bob Wallace Avenue. Captain Nick in the Jordan Lane Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
Do you have discomfort in your legs? Varicose veins can affect not only how your legs look, but how they feel. Symptoms of varicose veins include pain, swelling, aching, heaviness, and fatigue. Dr. Tracy Lowry of Best Vein Care of Huntsville can diagnose and treat your varicose veins with the latest minimally invasive techniques. Diagnosis and treatment is covered by most insurances. Call 256-715-7151 to schedule your free screening. Go to bestveincarehuntsville.com.
Hi, my name is Dan Aldridge. I'm here to let you know about the Aldridge Law Firm and the soon-to-be-announced Legal Town Center. I've been practicing law in Alabama since 1984, and I also practice in Tennessee. And I'm from North Alabama, and I'm here to represent you and take care of your legal needs. For many of us, hiring an attorney is not high on the priority list, and maybe a little scary. But it's something that we all need at some point. So by all means, do your homework. And if you need representation for car accident, wrongful death, medical malpractice, nursing home abuse, or estate planning, or any other matter, just give us a call at 256-534-3188. And you can email me at Dan, that is Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. God bless America.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
At Mr. Sparky, we're America's on-time electrician. Flickering lights and hot switches can be annoying, but they can also signal a major problem, or worse, an electrical emergency. So play it safe and leave it to the experts at Mr. Sparky. Trust our team of professional, clean, and friendly electricians. We'll get it done right and get it done safely.
You don't have to put up with any malarkey. Call 888-8-SPARKY.
Independently owned and operated, licensed in the respective state or county.
It just works. Picture this. You're at home, doing whatever it is you do. Then, pow! The power goes out. Then what? Well, at my house, life goes on. We have a Generac automatic home standby generator from Current Electrical and Generator Services. For your home security and peace of mind, get a free personal consultation on how a Generac automatic home standby generator can protect you. Current Electrical and Generator Services. Call or visit us on the web at HuntsvilleGenerators.com. You've got the power.
It's Talkin' Ball's Tailgate Tour, presented by Talent Heating and Air, 256-503-1325, serving Huntsville and the surrounding areas. It's time for tomorrow's headlines today with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Talking Ball 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond. It is our Talking Ball Tailgate Tour presented by Talent Heating and Air. We're live once again from Bill Penny Toyota. 2 days, 3 hours, 10 minutes, 44 seconds away from the start of the college football season. We are less than that from the start of the high school football season. It does get underway tonight. Albertville and Arab, they have moved their game to 7:30 tonight. You do have Vestavia Hills and Mountain Brook at 7:30. So there's some big games around the state. Now tomorrow, this is the list of games that we have that have been moved so far. This is a fluid situation, so there should be and probably will be some more kickoff times adjusted today. So stay with 97.7 ESPN The Zone. We'll keep you up to date the best we can. Buckhorns at Madison County. That one has been moved to 8 o'clock. You have Hazel Green at Sparkman. That one has been moved to 8 o'clock. Scottsboro at Fort Payne, that one is at 7:30. Priceville at Plainview, that one has been moved to 7:30. Vinemont at Falkville, that one has been moved to 8 o'clock. Westminster Christian in Lee for tomorrow, that one has been moved to 7:30. Whitesburg Christian at Woodville has been moved to 7:30. West Point at Good Hope, that one has been moved to 8 o'clock. So 7:30, 8 o'clock. We told you on Tuesday that this was a possibility, that this was a real possibility that teams were going to be moving their games, and indeed, it is the fact.
Yeah, I mean, you have to be careful in this heat and watch out for the young people. As we said, there's already been a couple of heat-related instances in practice around Huntsville and on the high school level. It's very, very important to be just centric on player safety and of course, even starting the games late, taking 8 extra heat timeouts. I mean, it's just been smoldering. I mean, it's just been very difficult to deal with. I know these coaches and players have been practicing early. We were at Alabama A&M yesterday. They've been going at 5:30, but that's something they've done under Connell Maynor for his 6 seasons now. But I know our own John Abraham was out at Sparkman practice. He and his brother Joe are going to be the broadcast team for Sparkman. They're practicing earlier. There's a lot of teams that are going ahead and going early, and it's still hot. It's still humid. But before the heat of the day hits you in the middle of the afternoon around the 1 o'clock and 2:30 and 3 o'clock hours, it's it's just one of those things. You're trying to manage the heat as best you can. I know Randolph and Bailey Lowry and I are going to be on the call for the Raiders this year. They're doing a walkthrough today from 4 to 5:15. And that's still some heat of the day, but it's getting a little bit later. Yeah. But still, you have to be very, very cognizant of the weather, no doubt about it.
I do want to pass along congratulations. We talk a lot of high school football recruiting. We talk a lot of recruiting on this show. But Alana Boyce, who is one of the up-and-coming tennis talent standouts in the state of Alabama, made a little history. She became the first tennis commit to Auburn in the North Alabama area in at least 17 years.
Nice.
So Auburn getting some top tennis talent. Try to say that 3 or 4 times. Top tennis talent here from North Alabama. Heary.
With the right phone number, just so you don't hear beep beep.
Just make sure you give them the right call, 256-503-4490, so you don't get the Herbie Love Bug beep beep.
Yeah, we don't need them thinking that Talent Heating and Air is on vacation or had an issue. It's not. It's just we're trying to give you the correct phone number, 256. Especially you folks that need some help, because if your AC ain't working right now, you're talking about some brutality. I mean, that's rough, and they'll help you same day.
They will. Just give them a call. Servicing Huntsville and surrounding areas. Hey, 256-576-4977. There's a few minutes if you want to get in on the phone lines, if you want to get in on the conversation. We have not had, over the past 4 days, we apologize, we have not had a lot of time to get to phone calls. We have not had a lot of the phone lines open because part of the tailgate tour was, and the whole vision was we wanted to showcase some of the local teams, college teams, because we talk a lot of the high school footballs on Friday, and tomorrow we will do that. We will talk high school football. We will have Randolph. We will talk some Randolph football over the air. We will talk some Madison Academy football over the airways as we get you ready for week 0 of the high school football season. But the whole vision of the tailgate tour was to shine some light on the North Alabama Lions, the Alabama A&M Bulldogs, the Troy Trojans, UAB Blazers, South Alabama. Who knows? Maybe next year we literally go on the road for all of those and visit every campus. But we had to take baby steps before we could actually take the big adult steps. So maybe we'll go on the road next year, but we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, no doubt about it. We had some fun. It was a unique experience to be at UNA and Alabama A&M. Yeah. Had a lot of fun there. Really enjoyed the event center and Dr. Paul A. Bryant, who yes, folks, please deliver his pizza. He gave us a great tour of their facilities and their state of the art over there. Beautiful place at Alabama A&M,
fantastic.
And then of course at UNA. So much energy going on there. They're going to be building a new football stadium. Their facilities are undergoing a lot of upgrades. There's a lot of energy on that coaching staff. You'll hear from that coaching staff on our Saturday show as we lead in to the first game of the Brent DeArmond era, Scott, which is very exciting, as they're going to be the first game in the United States in college football, to be played. They're going to get cranked up first, and that's going to be at Crampton Bowl against Mercer.
Yeah, I just was thinking about the Saturday show after coming off the tailgate tour week and the high school football week, whose bright idea was to wake up on a Saturday morning and have to do another show. That's all right, though. We'll have fun from our good friends just down the road there. Good friend Arthur Seaton there, Viking Arthur, Indiana Jones Arthur. I don't know what other Arthurs he can be, but we'll be there on Saturday. Make sure you stay with 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Download that app today because you're going to want it for high school football tomorrow. We'll have it all set for you. We'll lay it all out for you tomorrow. It's going to be a fantastic Friday as we get ready for the high school football season and week 0 of the college football season. Again, big thanks to Talent Heating and Air for helping us make this Talking Ball Tailgate Tour possible. We will put it all to rest tomorrow. We're going to be in studio tomorrow, so drive the dude.
First time all week.
Yep, drive your car there to the studio. We'll be there tomorrow morning. All right, guys, stay cool, and stay hydrated, folks.
Urban is a fraud.
Since 1986, Full Moon Barbecue has been cooking quality meats, low